A very good morning to all. Myself, Dr. Vijaya Nirmala, Associate Professor in the Department of Management Studies, Adishankara Group of Institutions. And today I am going to discuss about the brief introduction of operations research. So this subject is there for your second semester students of MBA. Okay, so that we are going to discuss about operations research overview of operations research. So already in the previous session we have discussed what is where the origin of this operations research has been started. And just I will give you a brief introduction that this operations research was first coined in 1940s. So this was first coined in 1940s by McCloskey, McCloskey and Trefton and Trefton. So these two people are from United Kingdom, McCloskey and Trefton, in a small town of Boutsey, in a small town of Boutsey of UK. So this new science, it came into existence in the military context at World War II. When the World War II has been, during the period of World War II, the military management, they called on the scientists and they asked for various disciplines, that how they organized them into the teams. And they organized those scientists into teams and asked them to solve the strategic and tactical problems which are related to air and land defense of the country. Air and land defense of the country. So to solve these, they used to ask them what are the strategic problems and what are the tactical problems that are there, and how can we solve those things at the time of war. And their mission was, the main thing is their mission needs to formulate a specific problems. What they require is, they require a specific plan, that how you have to attack the other persons in World War II. Now you understood where this operations research has been started. For this, they have prepared the military commands to arrive at the various decisions. They came with various decisions on the optimal utilization of the military resources, and they have implemented these decisions effectively. Right. So in this new approach to a systematic and scientific study, whatever the operations of the system that they have been done, those operations are said to be operations research. Those are said to be operations research, or we call it as operational research also. We call them as operational research. And hence, operations research can be associated with an art of winning the war, without actually fighting it. Here, what in the sense is this OR, it is mainly associated with uh, with how you are going to win the war without actually fighting. So they are not thinking that it is the fighting. So without fighting, how you are winning the war? That is called as operations research. That is called as operations research. I think you understood, ma. And if you move to the next slide, operations research have various names. Those they are also called as decision science, management science, operations management, and quantitative quantitative techniques, whatever the name that you call, everything is related to operations research only. So simply, before fighting for the war, how you have to fight in the war, the for that you need to take decisions, right? So taking the decisions, those are called as operations. Okay, so you need to take the decisions how you need to hit the opponent person, how you need to hit the opponent person. So that is called operations research. And I tell you an example for this. You have seen Bahubali 1 movie, and in that they used to fight with the Kalakeya team, right? So when you are fighting with the Kalakeya team, before that they have prepared a plan. They have prepared a plan with all the team members, right? With all the team members, all the people, they have made an idea that to start one that they have taken a decision that they want to start a war by not going directly and attacking the opponent person, directly and attacking the opponent person. They have planned that. What is that plan, ma? They said Trisula Vyuham. In that way, they have planned to fight for the fight with the opponent team, right? Generally war means we won't directly fight with the opponent team, but here they have taken a decision that they should not go directly and hit the team, but they have taken the other decisions. So that decisions what you take are said to be comes under this operations research. Ultimately, if you do any operations or if you take decisions, that it means that without fighting, only with the help of your decisions, you are winning the war. You are winning the war. That is called operations research. And the other names of this are you call, many people they call management science. You have learned in some universities they will call the same subject as quantitative techniques or operations management or management science also they used to call, or decision science, whatever that it may be. It is related to operations research. It is related to operations research. Now, let us see. If you move to the next slide, you can see what is actually the operations research is. The operations research is an art as well as a science that you can't tell whether in which you can use, in the science or in the art, that we can't tell. In all the things, either it may be an art and science, everything we use this operations research. Now I am telling you the class, that is, for this I am taking very much examples. I am preparing how I have to convey to the students in an understandable way, right? So that is called operations. And you are also doing operations, that you are listening to the class, that if you have no signal you come outside and listen to the class, that is you are performing listening task. That is called operations. You are performing, so whatever the task that you do, those are called as operations. So operations research is an art as well as a science. The Britishers or the Europeans, they refer as operations research as operational research. They refer as operational research. And Americans, they refer it as operations research, and we also follow the same operations research. And in modern terminology, they are using the synonyms for operations research like management science, MS, decision science, DS, and industrial engineering also, IE, industrial engineering. In engineering, they used to have these synonyms for operations research, and it is often considered to be a subfield of mathematics. It is often considered to be a subfield of mathematics. So it is a or operations research is a mathematical technique. It is a mathematical technique. That is, you are trying to solve the problem with the help of mathematical techniques. With the help of mathematical techniques, right? So the Americans are using the terms OR and MS together. Americans, they use in some terms they use OR, and in some terminology they use the new synonym as MS, and the both they tell it as ORMS, Operations Research Management Science. They used to call this OR as ORMS in American terminology. ORMS in the sense Operations Research Management Science. Okay, so these are the terminologies which the others use. Now, if you move to the next slide, operations. What is an operations? Operations in the sense, already we have discussed that those are the activities which is carried out in an organization. So whatever the activities that are being carried out in an organization are called as operations. Are called as operations. Now, what is a research? What is a research? It is the process of observation, and it is the process of observation and testing, the testing characterized by a scientific method. A scientific method. So in research, you used to find the observation and you used to test, right? And this test, that the analysis what you do will be on any of a scientific method which is proved. That is, you can see what are the things that are being involved in the research. The first one is situation. The first one is situation. So you will identify what a situation is first thing. And in the situation, you will be having a problem statement. You will be having a problem state. So based upon the situation, you will come to know what are the exact problems, and that problem statement you are being defined. And based on the problem, you will construct a model. You are constructing a model, right? And the models in the sense I'll discuss later, and there are several models to construct in research. In research, we will be having several models, right? That models we will discuss in the next class, next sessions. That just you think that in the research, when a situation is being seen, and in that situation you will come to identify the problem statement, and later on, based upon the problem statement, you need to construct a model. You need to construct a model. And the next one is validation. The other one is validation. That is, you are trying, when you use the model, right? So based upon that, you need to validate and make some experimentations, that is testing, right? You will test and you will analyze. Validation, either it is true or not, that is being tested. And also the experimentations are being done, and finally a candidate will get a solution. That is called a research. That is called a research. I think in your BRM also you will be learning the research process, that first you will identify the problem statement and then you collect the data regarding the problem statement, and with some techniques, that with some sampling methods you use to collect the data, and you will design it and various analysis, that there are various tests to analyze the data whether it is validate or not, and rather than and later you prepare a hypothesis and finally you draw some solutions, right? So this is what the research process is having. The same here also, but it is related to a mathematical solutions. Okay, now let us see. And now you came to know what is operations and what is research, right? Now let us see what is operations research. We use the term operations research only, okay? Or in some terminologies we generally use quantitative techniques. So these are the two generally we use, operations research or quantitative techniques that we will use. So operations research is a quantitative approach. It is a quantitative approach to the decision making. So already we have said that operations research is mainly meant for decision making, and this is done based on only the quantitative approach, that it is not qualitative, only based on the quantitative approach. We use decision making based on the scientific method, based on the scientific method of problem solving. Here we came to know various terminologies like decision making and problem solving. So these are the two things that we do in operations research. Decision making, you need to take the decisions, right decisions to solve the problem. How you solve the problem? By using some methods, those are which are scientific, based on the scientific methods, right? So that is about operations research and operations research. So this is operations research is the discipline of applying the advanced analytical methods. Here, what we do is we can use the advanced analytical methods to help make better decisions. So already operations research is meant for decisions, right? To take decisions, and this will be helpful in applying analytical. If you apply some more analytical methods for this operations research, this will be helpful to make better decisions, right? So OR is a professional discipline. It is not that the decisions which are being taken in an informal way or some other ways. It is a professional discipline and it deals only with the scientific methods. There are several methods, only with those methods, only with the help of those methods only we can do this operations research. And also operations research is an interdisciplinary disciple. Interdisciplinary, that it means that it is not only used in one way, it is used in different ways. In all the areas we can use this operations research. Okay. So it deals with advanced analytical methods for making decisions. Operations research, in this you can use various advanced methods for making decisions. Okay. So the business applications are concerned with operations research analysis. So only with the help of this operations research the business applications in the organizations are being concerned. Okay, now if you move to the next slide, you can see the terminology that we use in operations research is optimization. You use the terminology here is optimization. What is optimization? That now we will see. What are the decisions? You can ask what decisions that we can take in the business. In this, we can use optimization. Optimization in the sense to obtain the best, to obtain the best, that is to get the best, that is called optimization. Okay, so see, optimization is a word that comes to mind first in operations research. So you have to think that when you are thinking about operations research, in your mind, the first word that has to come is optimization. This is the first word. When you think of operations research, you need to think of optimization. Optimization means, you can see in the next line, optimization means maximizing the profits and minimizing the cost. So only these two, in these two, you need to take decisions, right? Maximum optimization, where in what area you can take decisions in business. Do you want profits or losses? We want profits. So to get profits, what we can do, that is the decision we need to take. If you want profits, what are the, in what way you can get the profits, that for that you need decisions, right? You need to take decisions. So in that time you require operations research. Operations research means the word, what will come for us in the mind? Optimization. Optimization. It is that maximizing the profits. That is, how can we increase the profits? That will be said through optimization. Optimization in operations research. And the other one, not only maximizing the profits, but also minimizing the cost, but also minimizing the cost, that also, no. So not only getting the profits, the cost that what we put should also be minimized. Then how can you reduce the cost? For that also you need decisions, right? You need decisions. So to take decisions, what we require? Operations research. So if you think of operations research, what must become into our mind? Optimization. Optimization. So optimization in the sense, you have to remember, up to completion of this operations research subject, you need to remember optimization means maximizing the profits and minimizing the cost. This is only the thing that you have to remember. What is optimization? You need to get an optimum solution. In the sense, optimization means maximizing the profits and minimizing the cost. Now, you understood, ma, what is optimization? And if you move to the next slide, operations research takes, already we have said operations research is done in various disciplines, right? And in what disciplines? It is that in economics, in psychology, in engineering, in statistics, and mathematics. So, all these are the various disciplines that operations research tools has been used in all these disciplines. Now, you think that I said regarding mathematics, it is used only in mathematics. No, it is a operations research is a mathematical technique, and it is used in all these, what we said, that economics, psychology, and engineering, even in mathematics and statistics, we use this operations research. We use this operations research. I think you are comfortable with what is the introduction about the operations research and where we use this research. And in the next slide, we used to discuss some definitions. Okay, so these are some of the definitions what some others said. Okay, according to Operations Research Society America, Operations Research Society America, what they said is operations research is scientifically concerned, operations research is concerned with scientifically deciding how to best how to best design and operate the man machine systems and how to operate the man machine systems usually requiring the allocation of scarce resources, usually designing the allocation of scarce resources. That is, with the availability of resources, with the availability of resources, how well you can design the best in making the man made machines. So, with the help of man machine systems, how can you design best? How can you decide best only with the availability of the resources in the organization? So, then you need to make some you need to decide scientifically. So, that is called operations research. So, operations research, what it does, it it is mainly concerned with taking the decisions and giving the best output. That is, you design the best design that how can you operate man machine systems, how can with the availability of the resources only. It is not that getting some other resources and doing, only with the availability of resources, how can you make best, how can you give the best output, that is how can you maximize the profits and how can you minimize the cost. So that you decide, right? That is called operations research. So this is one definition said by America, Operations Research Society America. And according to other person, that is PM Morse and G Kimball, what these two people have said is in 1946 they have said about this definition. It is a scientific method. Operations research is a scientific method of providing executive departments of providing the executive departments with a quantitative basis for decisions regarding the operations under their control, regarding the operations under their control. So that is being said by these two people, PM Morse and GE Kimball in 1946. So what they said, this operations research is said to be a scientific method, and this gives the various departments the decisions regarding the operations under their control. So how the operations they can be made on the quantitative basis, on the quantitative basis, that already we have said that it is a quantitative basis, right? So this is also one of the definition. In this they have wrote, many authors have written various definitions about war, and I like the best one of among them, the best definition what I like is according to TL Sati in 1958. What he said is operations research is the art of giving bad answers, the art of giving the bad answers to the problems to which otherwise worse answers are being given to. which otherwise the verse answers are given. Nearly there have 7 to 8 definitions, ma. But yeah, in your syllabus, the theory part is not there. That's why I'm not telling in detail. So there are some of the definitions, standard definitions, and I have said. And among those definitions, the one definition said by Sati that I have liked very much is that operations research gives the bad answers to the problem. So there is a problem in the organization, and to take the decisions with the help of operations, you can get a bad answers rather than worse answers. The simple meaning for this definition. Uh, Bad answers better anta worse answers kanna kuda. So that is what TL Sati has said. So this is the one best exam, the best definition I liked very much, that using operations research you can get a bad answers better than the worst answers, better than the worst answers. So worst decision తీసుకునే కన్నా you can take a bad decision, right? So that is the meaning of this uh, operations research said by TL Sati. So we go, there are many beauty producers that we go for beauty parlors, right? In beauty parlors, what they do, ma? What they do? They used to try to give some output for the clonus, right? అంతేనా మెరుగులు దిద్దుతారు అంటాం. వాట్ వి కాల్ ఇస్ ఉన్నదానికి మెరుగులు దిద్దుతారు, అంతేగాని కెన్ యూ చేంజ్ కల్పనా రాయ్ టు ఐశ్వర్య రాయ్? ఇస్ ఇట్ పాసిబుల్ ఇన్ బ్యూటీ పార్లర్స్? We can do. So in operations research also, what it does is whatever the resources available in the organization, for that they used to add some glowness, that's all. Add some glowness, but they can't change the complete thing. But you can ask, madam, we have applied operations research and I have taken decisions, but I have not got the output. So you can't get the output with the available resources what you have. So whatever you have, in that the better thing will be there, the better thing will be there, right? What I said, did you understand the example, ma? Manam beauty, we go for beauty parlors, right? And there what they do, ma, they will change you completely to Aishwarya Roy or some other Roy. No, you are there and you will be look better, that you will be added some more beauty, that's it. Other than that, you can't change completely. You go to parlor and after 1 hour, there will be not coming the other person. You will be the same person, but with some glowness. That glowness will be seen in operations research. That glowness only we can see. It is not that with the available resources, you can't get the high profits. Okay. Other than the worst losses, you get the less losses, making so you are getting the worst losses, ma. Okay, so if you apply some decisions in operations research, you will get less losses, you will get less losses. You can ask, madam, you said that you get profits and we have used operations research but we have not got profits, means I have taken a bad decision instead of worst decision. That is, you got a bad answer instead of worse answers. Instead of worse answers. So that is about the definition said by T.L. Sati in 1958. I think you understood this definition. I am thinking that you have understandable. Do you have any doubts till now? If you have any doubts, you can type in the chat box if you have any doubts, or else we will move to the next slide. Okay. And yeah, fine. I think nobody have. You can tell me. I'll. If you have any queries, you can ask regarding the introduction or the scope, whatever it may be. I have said what is operations research and where we use this operations research and what is the benefits. And now let us see what are the various phases of operations research. That is, phases in the sense the procedure to be followed in the study of operations research. What is the procedure that we follow in the study of operations research? Okay, this is about the phases. And the first phase is the procedure, the formulating the problem. Formulating the problem. And the next one is constructing a mathematical model. Constructing a mathematical model and deriving the solution from the model. Deriving the solution from the model. And next, testing the model and its solution. Testing the model in the sense updating the model, and controlling the solution, controlling the solution, and finally implementation. So these are the various phases of operations research. First, what you do, you will identify the problem, you will look after the situation, and you will identify the problem and you formulate what exactly the problem is. That is a diagnosis. It is very important, right? A diagnosis is very important. First of all, you need to formulate the problem. Without we generally we go for hospitals. If the doctors don't diagnose the actual disease, he will be continuously giving some more medicines to the patients. But he will go to the hospital, but still it is not cured. And again, he moves to the other doctor for second opinion, but still he will be suffering with the same problem. Why? Because without proper diagnosing the problem, there are many medicines for us, but we don't know how to diagnose. There is a medicine for uh, uh, cancer. There is a treatment for cancer, but you have to know first of all the patient how, whether he is suffering with some disease, and that disease is related to cancer or some other disease or etc etc or not. That is to be diagnosed. So first you need to diagnose what the problem is. In the same way, here we need to make formulation of the problem. So based on the problem, you need to construct a mathematical model. So there are several models that we will discuss in the next slide. What are the various models that how you use, that we will discuss in the next slide. And you construct a model, and next you derive the solutions for the model. Yeah, so the models, right? When you are constructing a mathematical model, you can, in the next slide we will see what are the models. There are several models. And next, you derive the solutions from the model. So when based upon the perfect mathematical model, you use to derive various solutions, and those solutions are being tested and tested. It means that whether it is working or not, that is being tested. And finally you get the controlling the solutions, that the solutions whatever you get, it must not deviate. Why? Because as it is a mathematical techniques, right, we use, so the solution must be under our control. For example, you use, correlation, right? You use correlation. What is correlation? To identify the relationship between any two variables, we use this technique. And the values must not be limited from -1 to +1. So that is regarding the correlation. You can't get 194.5 or 13.2 like that. You can't get the correlation R value. Okay, so if any deviations arises, and that way you need to control those solutions, and finally you need to implement your decision. So these are the various phases in operations research. In this, the second model, the second one that is constructing a mathematical model that now we will discuss. So what are the various operations research models? Okay, now if you move to the next slide, you can see what are the various models. So see, the models, or you call it as, or tools also, or techniques also. You can call this as or models, tools, and techniques. And under this, the models are linear programming. The first one is linear programming, that we call it as LPP, linear programming problem. So this is one model. So with the help of this model, you can find the solutions to the problem, linear programming. The other one is dynamic programming. Next one, waiting or queuing. We call it as queuing model. And integer programming and integer programming. The next one, game theory or competitive theory. We call it as game theory or competitive theory. And non-linear programming, LPP, and NLPP, non-linear programming, decision theory and simulation, decision theory and simulation. So among these models in this first slide, and there are also other models that in the second slide, those are sequencing theory. In the second slide, we have sequencing theory, Markov process, a replacement model, allocation model, replacement model, allocation model, network scheduling, information theory, symbolic logic, utility or value theory, and dual theory. So how many models are there, ma? 9 plus 18, 9 plus 9. There are 18 models, the total OR models. So in the organizations, you can use any of these models. But when you come to your syllabus point of view, in the first slide, you have LPP. In your syllabus, I am only, we can't discuss all these models. It takes very long time. You have only 5 models in your syllabus. In out of 18 models, you will study only 5 models, and that you can write those things. The one is linear programming, uh, just yeah, the one is linear programming, and the next one, queuing theory. The second is there, no, the next one, queuing theory, and game theory. So in the first slide, you will discuss only these 3 models. One is linear programming, queuing theory, and the other one is game theory. And when you come to the next slide, you will discuss sequencing theory, and network scheduling and network scheduling. So these you will discuss in your syllabus, right? So these are the 18 things that what in the next slide I have sent these 18. And among this, the network scheduling, in the sense, in this we have 2 models, ma. One is PET and CPM. PET and CPM, that is the comes under the last unit. And the first one is linear programming. In this you have 2 methods. One is graphical method and the other one is simplex method. These 2 we will discuss in linear programming. And how you solve the problem, that is important first. So I tell you each and every model, and I'll explain you clearly how the problem will be there. And later on, I'll give you some assignments also. And the other one is queuing theory and game theory. So these three plus network scheduling and sequencing theory. theory. And among this also, I think your syllabus is having transportation problems also. Transportation. So whatever it may, yeah, transportation problems also are there in your syllabus. Okay, you can see the syllabus, and based on that, we used to discuss each model. But there are only 18 models that which we can find, right? And among these, each model, I tell you clearly, the first I tell you the procedure how to do that problem. You have to, in the degree classes we used to write theorems, right? In the theorems you used to write step 1, step 2, step 3. In that way we used to write, right? In the same way, to solve the problem also, I tell you step by step procedure. Okay, you need to write each and every step. No problem, even though it gets delay for a syllabus, you will take extra classes to complete. But the first problem for each model, I tell you stepwise procedure. Step 1, what we have to do and what is the equation that we write. In step 2, what we have to do. And in your exam, it is not necessary that you have to write regarding the steps are not required in your exam point of view. Directly you can solve the problem, and this is the best. Many feel that operations research is a very tough subject and we get less marks, and many of them fails in this subject, and this is the thing that all knows. But if you know the model, you can easily score 10 marks. It is not the theory that you can to write some bus no, is not there to write. So what you do is you can write the exact problem, and if you get a solution, even it is one page, you will get 10 marks. Okay, so you can score 100 out of 100 in this subject. Why? Because there will be no theory, only problem. And if you write that problem, if you get the exact solution, so 10 marks for each question is yes. So, but what you have to remember is the model. So, whenever we start a new problem, okay, I know if you have any works, you can miss the class, but don't miss the class when the problem is being said for the first time. That is when I am explaining with each and every steps, no, that you don't avoid. That's what I am telling to each and every student. You can skip the class, no problem, you can ask, but make sure that I don't tell again the problem. Only once I tell you the procedure, and if you understand the procedure, whatever type of problem you get in the examination, you can crack it. That's what I am telling. Don't miss the class when the problem procedure is telling. So that class you please don't miss, or else other classes you can skip. I don't mind. Why? Because it is up to you whether you want to come to the class, whether you are interested or not. That is your wish, right? I think you understood today's session. If you have any queries, there is 2 minutes time. If you have any queries, you can ask me, ma, or else we'll wind up. Yeah. Okay, ma. With this, today's session is closed, and afternoon we have one more session, and in that we will discuss about the models in detail. Okay. Okay, ma. Thank you. Thank you all. I can stop recording.